They buried my brother on a Tuesday. Cold rain. Empty cemetery. Just me and my mother. Marcus was 23 years old when they killed him. The police called it gang violence. I knew better. My name is Miriam Johnson. I'm 26 years old. Born and raised in Detroit. Before all this, I was nobody special. College dropout. Waitress at a diner. Living paycheck to paycheck. Marcus was my only sibling. My best friend. My protector. And the Rossi family took him from me. 2 weeks before the funeral, Marcus called me at 2 a.m. His voice was shaking. Miriam, listen to me carefully. If anything happens to me... Marcus, what's going on? Just listen. There's a notebook hidden in my apartment, behind the bathroom mirror. If I don't make it, you need to get it. Don't make it? What are you talking about? I got involved with some people. Bad people. I thought I could make quick money, but... Miriam, they're saying I stole from them. My blood went cold. Did you? No. I swear to God, no. But they don't believe me. They want $50,000 by Friday or... The line went dead. I called him back. Straight to voicemail. I called 15 times. Nothing. Friday came. Marcus didn't. The police found his body in an abandoned warehouse on the east side. Single gunshot to the head. Execution style. The detective assigned to the case was a tired-looking man named Dan Cooper. He sat across from me in the station, coffee stains on his shirt, dead eyes. Miss Johnson, I'm sorry for your loss. But I need to ask, did your brother have connections to organized crime? I stared at him. Marcus worked at a printing shop. He wasn't a criminal. Detective Cooper slid a folder across the table. Inside were photos. Marcus, standing outside a mansion, talking to men in expensive suits. Do you recognize any of these people? Cooper asked. I didn't, but I memorized every face. Miss Johnson, your brother was seen at the Rossi estate multiple times in the past 3 months. The Rossi family runs, well, let's just say they have business interests that aren't exactly legal. You're saying they killed him? Cooper's face tightened. I'm saying your brother got involved in something he shouldn't have. And now he's dead. My advice? Grieve. Move on. Don't ask questions. Why not? He leaned forward. Because the Rossi family owns half this city, including half the police department. I walked out of that station knowing one thing. The law wasn't going to help me. I went to Marcus's apartment that night. Found the notebook exactly where he said. Inside, everything. Names. Dates. Transactions. Marcus hadn't stolen from them. He'd been documenting them. Every illegal deal. Every bribe. Every murder. He'd been building a case. And they found out. One name appeared over and over. Alex Rossi, the head of the family. The man who ordered my brother's death. I sat on Marcus's bed, holding that notebook. And I made a decision. If the law wouldn't give me justice, I'd take it myself. I spent 2 weeks researching the Rossi family. Alex Rossi, 52 years old, widowed, no children, ran his empire from a massive estate outside the city. He employed a full staff, drivers, security, housekeepers, and according to a job posting I found online, he was looking for a new live-in maid. I looked at myself in the mirror. Miriam Johnson. Average. Forgettable. Perfect. I dyed my hair, changed my style, created a fake resume with a fake name. Abigail Hart. No criminal record. No connection to Marcus Johnson. Just a young woman looking for work. The Rossi estate was even bigger in person. 30 acres. Iron gates. Security cameras everywhere. A woman named Susie met me at the door. Mid-50s. Stern face. Housekeeper uniform. You're here for the maid position? Yes, ma'am. Abigail Hart. She looked me up and down like I was furniture. You have experience? 5 years. Mostly private residences. Lie. References? All in my application. Fake. She gestured for me to follow. The mansion was obscene. Marble floors. Crystal chandeliers. Artwork that probably cost more than my entire life. Susie led me to a sitting room. Wait here. Mr. Rossi will see you shortly. My heart was pounding so hard I thought she could hear it. This was it. The man who killed my brother. Face to face. Alex Rossi entered the room like he owned the world. Because he did. Tall. Silver hair. Expensive suit. Cold blue eyes that saw everything. He looked at me the way you'd look at a tool. Abigail Hart. Yes, sir. Susie says you have experience. Yes, sir. Why do you want to work here? I'd practiced this answer 100 times. I need stable employment, sir. Live-in positions provide security. And honestly, I've heard you're a fair employer. Lie number 3. He studied me for a long moment. I kept my face neutral. Respectful. Harmless. You understand discretion is required in this position. You'll see things. Hear things. And you'll forget them immediately. I understand, sir. Good. You start Monday. Susie will show you your room. He walked out without another word. I'd done it. I was in. That night, alone in my new room in the mansion. I pulled out Marcus's notebook. Ran my fingers over his handwriting. I'm here, Marcus, I whispered. And I'm going to make them pay for what they did to you. Outside my window, I could see the mansion's west wing, where Alex Rossi slept, where the man who killed my brother felt safe. Not for much longer. 3 days into the job, I witnessed my first murder. The Rossi mansion operated like a machine. Susie ran the household staff with military precision. 6 maids total. 3 drivers. 2 chefs. 8 security guards. And everyone knew the rules. Never enter Mr. Rossi's office without permission. Never ask questions about his guests. Never, ever speak to him unless spoken to first. I followed every rule perfectly. Kept my head down. Worked hard. Stayed invisible. The other staff barely noticed me. Perfect. My room was on the 3rd floor. Small. Simple. But it had a window that faced the main driveway. Every night I watched. Expensive cars arriving. Men in suits. Conversations I couldn't hear. I started taking notes. Faces. License plates. Patterns. Building my own case. Just like Marcus had. The West Wing was off limits to staff. Alex's private quarters. His office. His sanctuary. Susie made it very clear. You do not clean the West Wing, Mr. Richmond handles that personally. Richmond. Alex's right-hand man. Early 40s. Former military. Watched everyone with suspicious eyes. He scared the other maids. He didn't scare me. I'd already lost everything I cared about. But I needed access to that wing. That's where Alex kept his records. His deals. His secrets. That's where I'd find the proof I needed. It happened on Thursday. I was cleaning the second floor hallway when I heard shouting from downstairs. Male voices. Angry. Then, silence. Curiosity pulled me to the banister. Below, in the main hall, Alex stood over a man on his knees. The man was crying, begging. Please, Alex, I can give you the money. Just give me one more week. You've had 3 weeks, Steve. Alex's voice was calm, almost bored. He nodded to Richmond. Richmond pulled out a gun. I should have looked away. I couldn't. The gunshot echoed through the entire house. Steve collapsed. Blood spread across the white marble floor. Alex checked his watch like nothing happened. Clean this up. And send his wife a message. She has 48 hours to pay his debt or she joins him. He walked away. Richmond made a phone call. Within 10 minutes, 3 men arrived. They wrapped Steve's body in plastic, mopped the floor, removed every trace. An hour later, that hallway looked perfect, like nothing had ever happened. I went back to my room and locked the door. My hands were shaking. I'd just watched a man die, and no one cared. Not the staff. Not the guards. This was normal here. I pulled out my phone. Thought about calling Detective Cooper. But what would I say? I saw Alex Rossi kill a man named Steve. Cooper's words echoed in my head. The Rossi family owns half the police department. No. I couldn't trust the police. I couldn't trust anyone. I needed to get into Alex's office. But how? Richmond guarded it like a fortress. And Susie had made it clear, no one went in without permission. Then opportunity found me. Friday morning, I was serving breakfast. The dining room was full. Alex at the head of the table. Richmond to his right. 3 other men I didn't recognize. I poured coffee. Kept my eyes down. Listened. The shipment arrives Tuesday, one man said. Port 7. Midnight. Security? Alex asked. Handled. Captain Desmond's on payroll. I nearly dropped the coffee pot. Captain Desmond. Detroit PD? Marcus had written about him in the notebook. Focus, Miriam. I moved to refill Richmond's cup. My hand slipped. Hot coffee spilled across the table. Onto papers. Onto Richmond's lap. Jesus! Richmond jumped up. I'm so sorry. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Susie appeared instantly. Furious. Abigail! What is wrong with you? I didn't mean to, Get out. Now! I hurried out of the room. But not before I saw it. In the chaos of Richmond grabbing napkins and the men moving papers. Alex's office door. Slightly open. I had maybe 2 minutes. I slipped into the office. Closed the door softly behind me. The room was exactly what I expected. Dark wood. Leather furniture. A massive desk. And filing cabinets. Locked. Damn it. I moved to the desk. Papers everywhere. I pulled out my phone. Started photographing. Contracts. Names. Bank accounts. I was on the 4th photo when I heard footsteps. My heart stopped. I shoved my phone in my pocket. Looked around frantically. No time to get to the door. I dropped to the floor. Crawled under the desk. Pulled the chair in. The door opened. Richmond's voice. I'll grab a fresh shirt from your closet. Make it quick, Alex replied. We need to finish this meeting. Footsteps. Right past the desk. I held my breath. Pressed myself into the smallest space possible. Please don't look down. Please don't look down. A closet door opened. Closed. Richmond walked back past. The office door shut. I stayed under that desk for another full minute. Then crawled out. Hands shaking. That was too close. The discovery. That night, I reviewed the photos on my phone. Most were financial records. Money transfers. Shell companies. But one page made my blood run cold. A list of names. People who owed the Rossi family. And next to each name, a status. Steve Martinez resolved. Kevin Brown pending. Marcus Johnson resolved. Resolved. They'd marked my brother's murder like a completed transaction. I stared at that page until my vision blurred. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. This was about making sure Marcus's death meant something. The next morning, a new maid started. Her name was Anne. Sweet girl. Maybe 22. Nervous. At lunch, she sat next to me. Is it true what they say about Mr. Rossi? She whispered. What do they say? That he's, dangerous. I looked at her. This innocent girl who had no idea what she just walked into. And, I said quietly, my advice? Do your job. Keep your head down. And don't ask questions. Why? I thought about Steve. About Marcus. About the list. Because the people who ask questions, they don't last long. I wasn't the only one in that mansion looking for revenge. I just didn't know it yet. His name was Desmond. Not Captain Desmond from the police. A different Desmond. Desmond Pierce. Late 20s. Handsome. New driver for the family. He started the same week as N. I didn't pay him much attention at first. Just another employee. Just another person trying to survive the Rossi family. But then I noticed something strange. Desmond watched Richmond. Constantly. Not obvious. Not suspicious. But I'd been watching people for weeks now. I knew the difference between casual observation and targeted surveillance. Desmond was studying Richmond the way I studied Alex. Why? 2 weeks into his employment, I caught Desmond in the garage. Late at night, photographing the cars. License plates. Vince. What are you doing? He spun around. Saw me. For a moment, we just stared at each other. Then he made a decision. I could ask you the same thing, Abigail. Or should I say, Miriam? My blood turned to ice. He knew. Who are you? I whispered. Someone like you. Someone who lost family to these people. How do you know my real name? Because I've been investigating the Rossi family for 8 months. And 3 weeks ago, I ran a facial recognition on all new staff. You popped up. Miriam Johnson. Sister of Marcus Johnson. I should have run. Should have denied everything. Instead, I asked the only question that mattered. Who did you lose? His face hardened. My father. Robert Pierce. He was a journalist, writing an expose on the Rossi family's political connections. They made it look like a car accident. We stood there in that garage. 2 broken people. 2 people pretending to be someone else. 2 people hunting the same monster. Why are you really here? I asked. Same reason as you. Justice. The police won't help. I know. That's why I'm not going to the police. Then what's your plan? He studied me carefully. I was going to ask you the same thing. We started meeting in secret. Late nights in the garage. Early mornings before the rest of the staff woke up. Sharing information. Comparing notes. Desmond had been documenting everything. Financial transfers. Political bribes. Criminal connections. He had evidence on Richmond. On Captain Desmond. On half the city council. I showed him Marcus's notebook. And the photos from Alex's office. This is incredible, he said, flipping through pages. Your brother was building a RICO case. A what? Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. It's how you take down entire criminal enterprises. You don't just arrest the boss. You dismantle the whole structure. Can we do that? He looked at me seriously. Miriam, if we can get enough evidence, we can end the Rossi family permanently. We needed 3 things. 1. Financial records proving money laundering. 2. Evidence of murders. 3. Proof of police and political corruption. I can get into Alex's office again, I said. Too risky. Richmond's watching you. He's suspicious? He's suspicious of everyone. But especially you. Why? Because you're too perfect. You never make mistakes. You never complain. You're exactly what you appear to be, which makes you suspicious. Damn it. I'd been too careful. So what do we do? Desmond thought for a moment. We need a distraction. Something big enough to pull Richmond and Alex away from the mansion for several hours. Like what? Like a rival family making a move. I stared at him. You want to start a war? I want to create an opportunity. There was another family in Detroit. The Moretti family. Smaller operation. Younger leadership. They'd been trying to expand into Rossi territory for years. If we feed information to the Morettis, Desmond said, make them think the Rossis are vulnerable. They'll strike. And while Alex is dealing with them, we get into his office, his files, his safe. It was insane. It was dangerous. It could get us both killed. I'm in, I said. Desmond had a contact. A man named Rex who worked for the Moretti family. Low-level enforcer. Ambitious. Greedy. Desmond fed him information. The Rossis were moving a shipment Tuesday night. Port 7. Minimal security. Worth $2 million. All lies. But Rex took the bait. Reported it to his boss. And the Morettas started planning. 3 days before the planned shipment, Richmond pulled me aside. Abigail. A word. My heart sank. We walked to an empty hallway. He stood too close. Studied my face. You've been here almost 2 months now. Yes, sir. You're a good worker. Quiet. Efficient. Thank you, sir. But I've noticed something. My pulse was racing. You asked a lot of questions. To the other staff. About schedules. About Mr. Rossi's meetings. I'm just trying to learn the household routine. Are you? His eyes were cold. I don't know what you're really doing here, Abigail. But I'm watching you. And if I find out you're anything other than what you claim to be? He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. I understand, sir. Good. Get back to work. I found Desmond immediately. Richmond knows something. What did he say? That he's watching me. Desmond, if he figures out who I really am, he won't. You don't know that? Then we move up the timeline. The Morettas hit the port tomorrow night. That's our window. Tomorrow? We're not ready. We'll never be ready. This is our shot. We take it, or we walk away forever. I thought about Marcus. About his notebook. About the word, resolved, next to his name. Tomorrow night, I said. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Richmond's warning. About the risk we were taking. About what would happen if we failed. Around 2 a.m., my phone buzzed. A text from Desmond. Meet me in the garage. Now! Emergency. I grabbed a robe. Slipped out of my room. The mansion was dark. Silent. I made it halfway down the stairs when I heard voices. Alex's office. Door cracked open. I moved closer. Don't trust her. Richmond's voice. You don't trust anyone, Alex replied. This is different. Something about her is off. Then investigate. But do it quietly. I don't want drama in my house. They were talking about me. I had less than 24 hours before Richmond uncovered the truth. The next night, everything went to hell. Tuesday. The longest day of my life. I went through my normal routine. Cleaning. Serving meals. Staying invisible. But inside, I was screaming. Tonight, we'd break into Alex's office. Tonight, we'd get the evidence we needed. Tonight, everything would change. Or we'd die trying. 7:45 p.m. Alex received a phone call. I was clearing dinner plates when I heard him shout. What? Everyone in the dining room froze. Alex's face turned red. How many? Where? I want everyone there. Now! He slammed the phone down. Looked at Richmond. The Morettas just hit our warehouse on 5th Street. Richmond's eyes widened. That's impossible. That location is. I know what it is. Get the cars. Get everyone. We're going now. It was working. The fake tip about Port 7 had been a diversion. The Morettas were hitting a real Rossi location. Within minutes, the mansion emptied. Alex. Richmond. 6 security guards. All gone. Only 3 people remained. Susie. Anne. And me. Perfect. 9 p.m. Susie retired to her quarters on the 1st floor and was watching TV in the staff lounge. I met Desmond in the garage as planned. You ready? He asked. Let's do this. We moved through the mansion like ghosts. Every camera. Every guard rotation. We'd memorized everything. Alex's office door was locked. Desmond pulled out a small toolkit. 30 seconds later, we were in. You take the desk, he whispered. I'll take the filing cabinets. I pulled out my phone. Started photographing everything. Contracts. Financial statements. Communications with politicians. Every document was another nail in Alex's coffin. Miriam! Look at this. Desmond was standing by a bookshelf. He'd pulled out a false panel. Behind it, a wall safe. Can you open it? I can try. He pulled out a stethoscope. Pressed it against the safe. Started turning the dial. Click. 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 The safe opened. Inside, stacks of cash. A handgun. Passports under different names. And a black ledger. Desmond pulled it out. Started flipping through pages. His face went pale. What is it? Miriam, this is a kill list. He turned it toward me. Names. Dates. Methods. Robert Pierce car accident March 12th. Marcus Johnson gunshot July 8th. Steve Martinez gunshot August 15th. 50 names. 50 murders. All documented. All ordered by Alex Rossi. "We have him," Desmond whispered. "This is everything we need." I pulled out my phone. Started photographing every page. We were on page 30 when we heard it. The front door. Voices. "I don't care what the damage is. I want everyone who was involved." "Alex." They were back. "How?" I whispered. "They were supposed to be gone for hours. It was a setup. The Morettas must have realized it was a trap." Footsteps. Coming closer. "Go," Desmond hissed. "We have to go now." He shoved the ledger back in the safe. Closed it. But there was no time to reposition the bookshelf. We ran. We made it to the hallway. Behind us, Alex's voice. "Richmond, check my office. Something feels wrong." "Damn it." "This way." Desmond pulled me toward the servant stairs. We ran down. Second floor. First floor. Behind us. "The safe is open." Alarm started blaring. We burst into the kitchen. And was there, eyes wide with terror. "What's happening?" "Stay here," I shouted. We ran for the back door. Almost made it. Richmond appeared. Gun drawn. "Stop! Now!" Desmond and I froze. Richmond's eyes moved between us. Well, the driver and the maid. Funny how you're both here. Together. Running from Mr. Rossi's office." Alex appeared behind him. His face was pure rage. "Who are you really?" he asked quietly. I could lie. I could make up a story. I could beg. Or I could give him the truth. "My name is Miriam Johnson." Alex's eyes narrowed. "Marcus Johnson's sister." "Yes. You came here to kill me. I came here for justice. There's no difference." He nodded to Richmond. Richmond raised his gun. Pointed it at my head. This was it. This was how I died. "Wait." Everyone turned. Desmond stepped forward. Hands raised. "Before you kill us, you should know. We weren't working alone." Alex's face changed. "What?" "We've been sending everything to the FBI for weeks. Every photo. Every document. Every piece of evidence." Lie. Complete lie. But Alex didn't know that. "You're bluffing." "Am I?" "Check your computer. Check your encrypted files. We've been in your system for a month." Another lie. But Richmond was already moving to the office. Alex followed, leaving us with one guard. Desmond caught my eye, nodded toward the door. 3, 2, 1. He moved. Desmond grabbed the guard's gun hand. They struggled. I ran. Not away from the fight. Toward the office. I had to get that ledger. That was the only evidence that mattered. I burst into the office. Alex was at his computer. Richmond at the safe. They both turned. "Grab her!" Alex shouted. Richmond came at me. I grabbed the first thing I could reach. A heavy paperweight. Swung it. Connected with Richmond's temple. He went down. I lunged for the safe. Pulled out the ledger. Alex grabbed me from behind. Strong hands around my throat. "You stupid girl. Did you really think you could beat me?" I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. My vision was going dark. Then, a gunshot. Alex's grip released. I fell forward. Gasping. Turned around. Desmond stood in the doorway, the guard's gun in his hand, smoking. Alex was on the ground, blood spreading from his shoulder. Not dead, but down. FBI! Nobody move! What? Agents flooded the mansion. Dozens of them. Tactical gear. Weapons. Shouting. I was pulled to my feet. Handcuffed. Miriam Johnson, you're under arrest for breaking and entering, assault, and conspiracy to commit murder. What? No, you don't understand. But they weren't listening. I saw Desmond, also in handcuffs. Our eyes met across the room. They led me out of the mansion in handcuffs. Outside, 20 police cars. News cameras. Chaos. I saw Alex being loaded into an ambulance. Wounded but alive. Smiling at me. And I realized. He'd won. We'd gotten the evidence. We'd exposed him. But we were the ones going to jail. They say justice is blind. They're wrong. Justice sees exactly who you are, and it punishes accordingly. Federal Courthouse, Detroit, Michigan. 2 trials happening simultaneously. United States versus Alex Rossi, charged with racketeering, money laundering, conspiracy to commit murder, and 47 other counts. United States versus Miriam Johnson and Desmond Pierce, charged with breaking and entering, assault with a deadly weapon, attempted murder, and vigilante justice. Different courtrooms. Same building. I sat at the defense table in my orange jumpsuit. Public defender on my left. Desmond 3 seats away. The prosecutor was a sharp woman named Abigail Morrison. Ironically, the same name I'd used undercover. She stood before the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, this case is simple. Miriam Johnson and Desmond Pierce took the law into their own hands. They infiltrated a private residence under false pretenses. They stole confidential documents. And they shot a man. My lawyer stood. Objection. Mr. Rossi was shot in self-defense. Sustained. The judge said. But Ms. Morrison, please stick to the facts. The fact is this. Morrison continued. These 2 individuals committed multiple felonies. Regardless of their motivations, they are criminals. And criminals must face continue 8:22 AIM consequences. I looked at the jury. 12 faces. Some sympathetic. Some disgusted. None looked like they understood. Morrison called her first witness. Richmond. He walked to the stand. Arm in a sling from where I'd hit him. He looked directly at me. No emotion. Just cold calculation. Mr. Richmond, can you tell the court what happened on the night of September 14th? I discovered 2 individuals breaking into Mr. Ross's private office. When I attempted to apprehend them, I was attacked with a blunt object, then shot. And who shot you? He pointed at Desmond. That man. Desmond Pierce. Morrison showed the jury photos. Richmond's injuries. The damaged office. Alex's gunshot wound. Mr. Richmond, during your time working for the Rossi family, did you ever witness Mr. Rossi commit any crimes? Objection. My lawyer jumped up. That's not relevant too. It's absolutely relevant, Your Honor. Morrison interrupted. The defense will claim their actions were justified because they were exposing criminal activity. I'm establishing that no such activity occurred. The judge nodded. Overruled. Answer the question, Mr. Richmond. Richmond looked at the jury. I worked for Mr. Rossi for 15 years. In that time, I never saw him break a single law. He's a legitimate businessman. A pillar of the community. Lies. All lies. But the jury was listening. The defense? My lawyer did his best. Miss Johnson, can you explain to the jury why you infiltrated the Rossi mansion? I took a deep breath. My brother, Marcus Johnson, was murdered by Alex Rossi's organization. The police wouldn't investigate because Rossi owns half the department. I had no other choice. And what did you find in the mansion? Evidence. Financial records showing money laundering. Documents proving police corruption. And a ledger, a kill list, with my brother's name on it. Morrison stood. Objection. There's no evidence this alleged ledger exists. My heart sank. Your Honor, we have the photographs, my lawyer said, pulling out his phone. Photographs obtained illegally, Morrison countered. During an illegal break-in. Inadmissible. The judge looked tired. Sustained. The photographs cannot be entered as evidence. No. No, no, no. But that's the proof, I shouted. That ledger proves everything. The judge banged his gavel. Miss Johnson, you will remain silent or you will be removed from this courtroom. I looked at Desmond. His face was pale. Without the ledger photos, we had nothing. During a recess, my lawyer pulled me aside. I need to be honest with you, Miriam. This isn't going well. What about Alex's trial? Are they using our evidence there? He shook his head. Without admissible proof, the case against Rossi is falling apart. The FBI raided the mansion after you broke in, but they couldn't find the ledger. What? Alex must have moved it or destroyed it in the 6 months before trial. All they have are the legitimate business records. Nothing incriminating. I felt sick. So he's going to walk free? It's worse than that. His lawyers are suing you and Desmond for defamation, emotional distress, and damages. If you're convicted here, you could be facing 20 years in prison. And a multi-million-dollar judgment you'll never be able to pay. Everything we've done. Everything we've risked. For nothing. Then something unexpected happened. The prosecution called Anne to the stand. Sweet, innocent Anne. The young maid who'd started the same time as me. She looks terrified. Morrison smiled at her. Gentle. Reassuring. Miss Anne Davies, you worked at the Rossi mansion during the same period as the defendants. Did you ever witness Miss Johnson or Mr. Pierce doing anything suspicious? Anne's eyes found mine. She looked like she wanted to cry. Ah, yes. My stomach dropped. Can you tell the jury what you saw? And swallowed hard. I saw Miriam, Miss Johnson, sneaking around late at night, taking photos with her phone. And I saw her and Desmond meeting in secret. In the garage. Talking about hurting Mr. Rossi. Lie. Complete lie. But it was convincing. And the jury believed her. Thank you, Miss Davies. No further questions. My lawyer stood for cross-examination. Miss Davies, did Mr. Rossi or anyone from his organization threaten you before this testimony? Objection. Speculation. Sustained. My lawyer tried another angle. Are you currently still employed by the Rossi family? And nodded. Yes. And how much are they paying you? Objection. Relevance. Your Honor, I'm establishing potential bias. Move on, counselor. We've lost and as a witness. 2 weeks later, Alex Ross's verdict came first. We weren't allowed to attend. But news traveled fast. Not guilty. All charges. Insufficient evidence. Illegal search and seizure. Prosecutorial misconduct. Alex walked out of the courthouse a free man. I watched it on the TV in the holding cell. He stood on the courthouse steps, surrounded by reporters, smiling. "I'm just grateful the justice system worked," he said into the cameras. "I've been falsely accused, attacked in my own home, but truth prevails. I look forward to rebuilding my life and my business." Rebuilding. He was going right back to it. The drugs, the murders, the corruption. And there was nothing anyone could do to stop him. Our turn came 3 days later. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. When they returned, not one of them looked at us. Never a good sign. In the case of the United States versus Miriam Johnson and Desmond Pierce, on the charge of breaking and entering, how do you find? Guilty. On the charge of assault with a deadly weapon? Guilty. On the charge of attempted murder? The forewoman hesitated. Not guilty. Small mercy. But it didn't matter. We'd been convicted. 2 weeks later, we stood before the judge. "Miss Johnson, Mr. Pierce, you have been found guilty of serious crimes. The law is clear. Regardless of your motivations, you cannot take justice into your own hands." I wanted to scream. To tell him about Marcus. About the 50 names in that ledger. About the corruption that made vigilante justice the only option. But I stayed silent. "However," the judge continued, "the court recognizes the extraordinary circumstances of this case. Your brother was murdered, Miss Johnson, and the system failed you." He paused. "I cannot condone your actions, but I can show mercy in sentencing." Hope flickered. "Miriam Johnson, you are hereby sentenced to 5 years in federal prison, with eligibility for parole after 3. 5 years. Desmond Pierce, you are sentenced to 7 years in federal prison, with eligibility for parole after 4. Desmond closed his eyes. "Additionally, you are both ordered to pay restitution to Alex Rossi in the amount of $500,000 each for damages and emotional distress. $1 million. Money we'd never have. This court is adjourned." They let us speak for 5 minutes before transport. Desmond and I sat across from each other. Handcuffed. Guards watching. "I'm sorry," I said. "For what?" "Getting you into this." He shook his head. "I was already in this. You just gave me a partner. We failed. Did we?" I looked at him confused. "Miriam, Alex is out there. But everyone knows what he is now. The trial was public. The accusations were public. Some people believe us. That doesn't change anything. It changes everything. You planted seeds of doubt. You exposed him, even if the law couldn't touch him. That's not justice." "No. But it's something." I was released on parole after serving 3 years. Desmond still had 1 year left. I walked out of federal prison into a world that had moved on without me. My mother had passed away while I was inside. My apartment was gone. My old life was gone. I had nothing, except a promise I'd made to Marcus. 2 days after my release, I received a package. No return address. Just my name. Inside, a flash drive. And a note. "You did more than you know. A friend." I plugged the flash drive into a library computer. It contained files. Hundreds of them. The ledger. Financial records. Communications. Everything we'd photographed that night. Everything the FBI had claimed didn't exist. Someone had saved it. Someone had kept it safe. And at the bottom of the folder, a news article. "Mysterious FBI whistleblower exposes police corruption in Detroit." Anonymous source provides evidence of widespread corruption involving Captain Joseph Desmond and 6 other officers. Captain Desmond, the cop on Alex's payroll, arrested. I kept reading. More articles. City council member resigns amid bribery scandal. Federal investigation reopened into organized crime in Detroit. Businessman Alex Rossi under IRS investigation for tax fraud. It wasn't over. The evidence was getting out. Slowly. Carefully. Someone was finishing what we started. I visited Marcus's grave for the first time in 3 years. Someone had left flowers. Fresh ones. I knelt down. Placed my hand on the headstone. I'm sorry it took so long, Marcus. I'm sorry I couldn't give you perfect justice. The wind blew gently. But I tried. God knows I tried. I stayed there for an hour. Just talking to him. Telling him everything. When I finally stood to leave, I saw someone watching from across the cemetery. A man in a dark suit. He nodded once. Then walked away. I didn't recognize him. But something told me he was part of this. Part of the bigger picture I couldn't see yet. Desmond was released. We met at a diner. The same one I used to work at before everything happened. He looked older. Prison does that. You look good, he said. Liar. He smiled. We ordered coffee. Sat in comfortable silence. Did you hear? He finally said. Hear what? Alex Rossi was indicted yesterday. Federal charges. Tax evasion, money laundering, conspiracy. My heart skipped. How? Anonymous evidence. Delivered to the FBI. Apparently from a whistleblower inside his organization. The flash drive. Someone on the inside was still fighting. Will it stick this time? Desmond shrugged. His lawyers are good. But the evidence is solid. There's a chance. A chance. Not justice. Not yet. But a chance. 6 months later, I sat in a courtroom gallery. Alex Ross's second trial. This time, the evidence was admissible. This time, the prosecution was prepared. This time, there was no escape. The jury foreman stood. On the charge of money laundering, how do you find? Guilty. On the charge of racketeering? Guilty. On the charge of conspiracy to commit murder? A pause. Guilty. Alex's face didn't change. But I saw it. The moment he realized he'd lost. Sentencing Alex Rossi. Alex Rossi, you have been found guilty of operating a criminal enterprise that has caused immeasurable harm to this community. You've corrupted law enforcement, politicians, and institutions meant to serve the public good. The judge looked at him with disgust. You are hereby sentenced to 35 years in federal prison without the possibility of parole. 35 years. Alex would die in prison. The cost. But victory tasted like ash. Marcus was still dead. Desmond's father was still dead. I'd lost 3 years of my life. Desmond lost 4. My mother died alone. My brother's killer walked free for years before finally facing justice. Was it worth it? I stood outside the courthouse. Desmond beside me. What now? He asked. I thought about it. I don't know. Find a job. Rebuild. Try to have a normal life. Think that's possible? Probably not. He smiled sadly. Yeah. Probably not. We stood there for a moment. 2 broken people who'd been to hell and back. Miriam? Yeah. Do you regret it? I looked back at the courthouse. Thought about everything we'd done. Everything we'd lost. I regret that the system was so broken that we had to do it ourselves. I regret that justice cost us everything. I regret that Marcus is gone, and nothing can bring him back. But do you regret fighting? I met his eyes. No. Never.